Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to the last video, live show on the channel in 2021, the last video of 2021. So a big old happy new year to everybody tuning in and all of that. Smash a like on the video if you want Manchester United to have a successful 2022, and do let me know down below if you got any cool New Year's Eve plans, guys. Anyone doing anyone out tonight? Because I'm actually in tonight. Originally I was going to an event in London, got cancelled because of COVID. Then I was going to a house party, got cancelled because of COVID. Then I was going to go out with a few friends, that got COVID. So now I'm at home because everyone has bloody COVID but me. I must be immune. I'm going to jinx it again next week now. But let me know what you're doing for your New Year's Eve, and obviously wishing everybody a happy new year. But we've got lots and lots to talk about in today's show, lots and lots to get through. So do smash a like, do subscribe, and all that. What are we going to be talking about in today's show? We're going to be talking about Cavani, Donny, Martial, all potentially leaving, the CDM situation, who's coming in January, the latest on Julian Alvarez, who's been reported by Tier 1 and Tier 2 sources that him and his agent will travel to England and have a meeting with Manchester United on Monday or Tuesday next week. We'll get more into that in a second. We're also going to talk about Romelu Lukaku disrespecting Chelsea. Chelsea's season in the mud. Lukaku can't hack the Premier League. I think it's absolutely banterable as well, guys, because every single Chelsea fan was tweeting when Lukaku signed for Chelsea that he was going to show Ronaldo levels. You know, Ronaldo was going to be the flop and Lukaku was going to be the success story. Every single Chelsea fan was like, Lukaku's going to outscore Ronaldo. I would put money on it without a doubt. And it's literally like, Ronaldo's got 17 goal contributions in 17 starts at Manchester United. And Lukaku, what have you done? You can't do it in the Premier League, and now he wants to leave. And I just think that absolutely makes me laugh. And, you know, let me know your thoughts on that down below. But yes, smash a like, smash a subscribe, and all of that. Big up everybody getting involved in the chat. But I do want to get something up on my screen because we've got a bit of an early talking point in today's video, guys. And I want to talk about the disrespect. We're going to call out TalkSport, you know, and look, we all know TalkSport. They're not the best source of information, are they? They're not the best thing online. And basically, TalkSport, whenever I see TalkSport come up on my TikTok, whenever I see TalkSport come up on my feed, it always is TalkSport going, Bruno this, Ronaldo this, Bruno this, Ronaldo this. They always go on about Bruno. They always go on about Ronaldo on this bloody TalkSport show. You know, Bruno's the problem, Ronaldo's the problem. It's always one of them that problem. It absolutely does my head in. And I tweeted this earlier. I said, when are the English media going to wake up and start blaming Harry Maguire? Start blaming English players? They never will. If Bruno has one bad game, the media runs at him. If Ronaldo has one bad game, the media runs at him. Same with Martial, same with Pogba. If you look at Manchester United over the last 5 years, Bruno, Ronaldo, Martial and Paul Pogba have got more blame than any other player for what Man United don't play well. Are Bruno, Pogba, Martial and Ronaldo good players? Yes, but why do Bruno, Pogba, Martial and Ronaldo seem to get all the blame when it comes from, like, directed by the English media when things don't go right at Manchester United? And I will tell you why they get all the blame, because of the English media is so biased. I said it before, I'll say it again. TalkSport, you know, Bruno hasn't been brilliant this season, but Bruno's been okay. Bruno's had good games. Bruno's carried us in the Champions League. Bruno's dropped off. Bruno's been inconsistent this season, but he hasn't been bad. You know, Ronaldo has been good this season. 17 goals in 17 goal contributions, 17 starts. He's 37 next month. Harry Maguire, and I've never been a Harry Maguire hater. I said he's good at Euros. He was good at the end of last season. I know there's a good player in Harry Maguire, and I've never been like anti-Maguire, but Maguire has been shit this season. Maguire has been our worst player this season, and if anyone deserves to be dropped, it's Maguire before anyone. But the English media, TalkSport, they'll spend 90% of their time saying Ronaldo's made Man United worse and Man United are better without Bruno. Not once have I heard anyone in the English media or TalkSport or any of these things say Man United would be a better side without Maguire. Because I tell you what, Lindelof, Bailly and Varane right now are better than Harry Maguire. But TalkSport, Manchester Evening News, none of them want to say United will be a better side without Harry Maguire. But every single time I go on TikTok, Twitter, it's TalkSport. United are better without Bruno. United are better without Ronaldo. Ronaldo's made Manchester United worse. And I think, what on earth is this English media bias, guys? What is this English media bias? Because I tell you what, as Stumpy said, it is talk shite, not talk sport. I made a TikTok on them. Because they literally say Bruno and Ronaldo are the problem at Man United, but Maguire ain't the problem at Man United. No. Like, Bruno should be dropped, Ronaldo should be dropped. What about Maguire should be dropped because Lindelof and Bayern Varane are better? Like, they don't want to talk about that because Maguire's English. It's like the fact that up until last week, Harry Kane only had one goal in December. Don't want to talk about it. And there's certain players that are just protected by the media because there's certain people out there that will always be attacked. Whatever Paul Pogba does, he's always going to be attacked. Paul Pogba could be, as consistent could be, and you still get people blaming Paul Pogba for the problems at Manchester United. And it always astounds me. It doesn't matter what's going on at Manchester United. It will always be Pogba, Ronaldo, or Bruno, or Martial getting the blame. It doesn't matter who's at Man United. It doesn't matter what's going on at Man United. Pogba, Ronaldo, Bruno, or Martial are always the ones getting the blame. You don't see them talk about Maguire. You never saw them talk about Scott McTominay, who has been good lately under Rangnick. But you haven't seen them talk about Luke Shaw, has been good lately under Rangnick. The media don't talk about Rashford. And I said this in the summer. I love Marcus Rashford, but Rashford can have 10 bad games and it goes under the radar. Martial, one bad game, he's not good enough. Get him out. And the thing that I find the most hilarious, again, with Lukaku is, everyone was saying Lukaku, Man United ruined Lukaku. Lukaku is a different Lukaku now. He's going to show Man United what they're missing and all of that. And Lukaku's better than Ronaldo. Lukaku was so much better than Ronaldo in Serie A. He's going to, and it actually made me laugh how Lukaku was going to come to the Premier League, prove United wrong, show he's a different player now, show how he's better than Ronaldo. And right now, Lukaku's come out saying he wants to leave. And Ronaldo, as you can see by my tweet, Ronaldo will be 37 next month. Well, in February, but tomorrow, February will be the next month. And he has 17 goals and assists and 17 starts. All I'm saying about Cristiano Ronaldo is he plays in the hardest league in the world, which is the Premier League. He's carrying us in the Champions League. And, Messi only has one goal in the Uber Eats League. If it was the other way around, everyone would be talking about Ronaldo, how good Messi had been. I cannot understand why people believe Cristiano Ronaldo is the problem at Manchester United. If you generally believe Cristiano Ronaldo is the reason we've dropped off this season, tell me why. Maybe players like Bruno have got worse because instead of scoring the goals, Bruno's got to be more of a creator and Bruno's trying harder to create. Maybe. But how has Cristiano Ronaldo made Manchester United worse? If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be in the Champions League. Straight up. 17 goal contributions and 17 starts. He's nearly 37. We are playing crap. You've also got to remember, Ronaldo's had no service. Like, Ronaldo's got putting up these stats in the hardest league, in the Champions League, for a team that's playing crap, who had Ollie and coaches and co, and he got no service. I mean, that is enough said as well. Someone said, lol, Ollie Scott versus Ralf Scott. Well, right now, I will say Scott McTominay hasn't had a bad game under Ralf Rangnick, and I think we can all admit that. Scott McTominay's had some average games under Ralf Rangnick, but he hasn't had a bad game. Scott McTominay under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have bad game, average game, bad game, world-class game. Scott McTominay under Rangnick has been average game, world-class game. He hasn't had a bad game under Ralf Rangnick, I will say that for Scott McTominay. And maybe we'll start seeing, hopefully, some consistency in Scott McTominay. I said this yesterday. I don't want to repeat myself too much. Scott McTominay can be shit for 3 months. And then he has this one game where he plays as a box-to-box and we're like, oh, there's a player in there. Every now and then we see there's a good player in Scott McTominay and all the coaches rank him. So there's got to be a player in Scott McTominay. And I believe that he should have been dropped more than he has been dropped because he has been crap. But he puts in a performance like he did last night. And I go, oh, there's a player in Scott McTominay. And I really hope we're not going to see the Scott McTominay that has 3 world-class games a season and there's crap every other game. I hope Ralf Rangnick builds some consistency. And I will talk about some comments that Ralf Rangnick made, guys. I actually want to talk about some comments that Ralf Rangnick made because he talked about it here. He said that it was a very good performance from Scott McTominay today. Ralf Rangnick also said that we decided to play with 2 6s as we did, but to have Matic in the team as a sort of quarterback who can calm the play down and play passes from that position. And then Scott McTominay's energy on the pitch is contagious. And what Ralf Rangnick was basically saying is he played McTominay and Matic as 2-6s, but Matic did that quarterback role where Matic did all the defensive work so Scott could use his energy high up the pitch. And Ralf Rangnick knows, and you can tell Ralf Rangnick knows that Scott McTominay is a box-to-box, because I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knew that Scott McTominay was a box-to-box midfielder, because whenever Scott McTominay played as a box-to-box, he did have a good game. But as soon as he started playing as a CDM, he was just defensively meh. And like these comments from Ralf Rangnick on Scott McTominay after the game and how Matic was the quarterback in the pivot says to me that Ralf Rangnick knows Scott McTominay as a box-to-box and not a CDM as well. Guys, please do smash a like on the video if you have not already, and of course subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you are new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news throughout the January transfer window, make sure you're subscribed, because I will get into the Julian Alvarez story in just a second. A lot to talk about regarding Julian Alvarez, so do not worry, I will be getting into that story, because there will be some ins and there will be some outs there, and Lukaku out trending. And guys, let me know your thoughts on the Lukaku situation. I just think it's comedic. Honestly, I just think it's comedic. You know, Lukaku's a different player now. He's, you know, Man United should have never sold Lukaku. 4 months and he wants to go because he can't act the Prem. I tell you what, Lukaku's got one of the worst work ethics ever. Do you know what makes me laugh? Is that Paul Pogba comes under so much criticism, and there's been times where Paul Pogba deserves to be under criticism. But not once has Paul Pogba come out and said he wants to leave Manchester United. He's not happy. You know, imagine the scenes if that was Paul Pogba. Imagine the scenes. Okay, yes, Paul Pogba should shut his agent up. But Paul Pogba's never done what Lukaku's done. Never once. You know, and Paul Pogba, according to the media, has one of the worst attitudes in football. And I'll never get it. I'll never get it. And I tell you what, I am so glad we sold Lukaku. I'm so glad we sold Lukaku. And I remember Man United were gonna. I don't regret selling Lukaku. Everyone used to come at me and say, "Oh, look at Lukaku in Serie A," and I said, as a United fan, I've never regretted selling Lukaku, because when we sold Lukaku, we got that brilliant season out of Martial. Martial in that 1920 season was better than anything Lukaku had done for United. We got that brilliant season out of him. We got Cavani, and I'd rather have Lukaku. We've got Ronaldo, and I'd rather have Lukaku, even though he's 37 and Cavani's 35. You know, I've never once regret selling Lukaku. And people used to say, "Oh, United fans are going to regret selling Lukaku. He's going to show us levels. He's a different player now." Not once. Not once did I ever regret selling Lukaku. And I still don't know. What happened to the 25k on your other channel? The 25k went out 2 weeks ago on the third channel, Alex. If you go to my channel description, there should be a button you can click that will lead you to that as well. And why talk about Pogba? He's gone. Well, Pogba's going to be involved soon. Pogba actually is due back from injury this week, by the way, guys. And I believe that Paul Pogba will be involved for Manchester United under Ralf Rangnick. I know that he's leaving in the summer, but when you have a player like Paul Pogba that's so talented, and actually I will say this, I think Paul Pogba will work really, really well in Ralf Rangnick's 4-2-2 system. I generally believe that Paul Pogba will work very well in Ralf Rangnick's 4-2-2 system, because Paul Pogba, when he plays as a left mid for United, is always quite good, and he does contribute. And I think that left cam role would really, really suit Paul Pogba. Get Sancho on the right, get Pogba on the left, and I think we'll see Paul Pogba actually have a little bit of involvement under Ralf Rangnick. Later in the video, at the end of the video, we will be doing the Manchester United 2021 Player Awards. So do stay tuned to the end of the video, because we'll be doing the Player of the Year, the Young Player of the Year, the Most Improved, the Best Goal, and the Best Game at the end of the video, the 2021 Player Awards as well. And also, Maguire gets slagged off all the time, and so does Rashford. What I mean, let me go back to my comment. Maguire and Rashford get slagged off by Manchester United fans all the time, but I'm talking about the media. If you know the media outlets, if you go to Talkshite, all the sort of the media outlets that talk about Manchester United, you know, they talk about Martial, they talk about Pogba, they talk about Bruno, they talk about Rashford. Sorry, not Rashford, Ronaldo, Bruno, Martial, Pogba. They talk about those players. And, you know, TalkSport, I've done more shows on Ronaldo and Bruno being the problem at Manchester United than any other player. TalkSport have not once spoke about Harry Maguire. TalkSport have not once said Harry Maguire has been crap this season. You know, TalkSport are saying United are better without Ronaldo. TalkSport say United are better without Bruno. Okay? but they have never once said United better about Maguire. Considering how much better Lindelof, Bailly and Varane have been than Maguire this season, I just think it's a little bit weird how the English players get protected. I think the Manchester United fans do give Rashford and Maguire, I may be too harsh on them, but in terms of the media, the actual media itself, do you ever see the pundits on Sky Sports going on Harry Maguire, going on Marcus Rashford? No. If Rashford and Martial have a bad game, the pundits will only talk about Martial. If Harry Maguire has a bad game, but Bruno has a bad game, the pundits will only talk about Bruno. The pundits on Sky, TalkSport, all of these main media shows have spent 90% of their time blaming Martial, Pogba, Bruno and Ronaldo for everything going wrong at Manchester United, and barely, not even once, spoke about Harry Maguire's form this season. I don't think one pundit on Sky Sports or TalkSport has said Lindelof, Bailly and Varane should be playing over Maguire, but instead they say United should drop Ronaldo, they say United should drop Bruno. That's what I mean. I mean, us fans, we know that, look, Rashford ain't been great. We know that Maguire ain't been great, and we'll criticise the English players, but I just think they get too much protection from the media. I mean, Harry Kane only got one goal up until a week ago in the whole Premier League. You know, imagine if that was Ronaldo. Imagine if Ronaldo right now only had one goal. Like, imagine if Ronaldo right now only had one goal, the amount of stick he'd be getting. It'd be absolutely insane. As Cameron says, TalkSport love the English players and defend them. And unfortunately, if you are, the English players, they're so overrated and defended by the media. You know, when Scott and Fred would have a bad game, Fred was always the scapegoat because Scott was British. And, Scott was brilliant last game. But, if Maguire and Lindelof have a bad game, it's, Lindelof's not good enough, Sky will say. They won't talk about Maguire not being good enough. If Ronaldo, who's got 17 goal contributions, 17 starts, has one game where he goes, they go, look, yeah, Ronaldo was rubbish. Yes, but you're still not going to talk about Maguire being rubbish 10 games. I just, the media agenda and the English bias, honestly, crazy. We got a bargain on Lukaku and Chelsea overpaid for a 50 mil striker. You know what? As I said, going back to my earlier point, I do not regret selling Lukaku one bit. We got 70 million for Lukaku. 70 million. We got basically our money back from Lukaku. He's gone to Chelsea, and at 4 months at Chelsea, he's literally complaining as well. Lukaku was playing to the Italian media, but I have to admit it does look bad. Jammy Chelsea fans for turmoil now. I agree with Diego. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be really pissed off. I'd be really pissed off if I was a Chelsea fan because he ain't even been there 4 months. And it's not, look, he's not been brilliant, but if he's a good player, he would believe in himself. He would absolutely believe in himself. And SS16 says, I don't think Lukaku's going against Chelsea. He was asked about a question how right now compared to things in Sky Italy, where he just stated what he felt. You can't really blame him. Yes and no, but when you're a player of Lukaku's size and influence, you shouldn't be saying what you're saying. And as Diego says, over 150 watching right now, guys. So please smash a like on the video and, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you are new as well. And Alice, do you think Manchester United will sign Julian Alvarez? And yes, we're 18 minutes into the show, so let me get into the Alvarez news. Then we will talk about Ronaldo. Then we'll talk about some comments Ralf Rangnick had made. Then we'll talk about Donny's future. Then I'll read out some more comments. Well, I'll read out some more comments anyway. And then we will do our 2020 Player Awards. But so Julian Alvarez, by the way, guys, is a player in Argentina. I think he's got 24 goal contributions and 17 starts in the Argentinian league. Julian Alvarez, he's very two-foot. He's a very good finisher. He can play all across the front three. He's actually one of the most technically gifted dribblers out there, and that's why people in Argentina have compared him to the next Messi. He's a player that Ralf Rangnick's got an eye on, that Ralf Rangnick wants. He's a player that Ralf Rangnick's identified, and if you look at Ralf Rangnick's history, he's identified Erling Haaland, he identified Kimmich, Mane, Firmino. We know Ralf Rangnick has a good eye for identifying good young players, and doing the research on Julian Alvarez, he's very two-footed, a brilliant finisher. He's good with his head, he's physical, he's quick, but he's one of the best technical dribblers out there in football, and I think that's why he almost gets compared to being the next Messi. So I got a couple of reports here, and the Manchester United Twitter page, MUFC MPB, gave all these reports a tier about how reliable they are. And a tier 1 source that was rated by the MUFC MPB on Twitter, and tier 1 means reliable, like Richard Romano's tier 1. A tier 1 source, so a very reliable source, has said that Manchester United are preparing an offer for Julian Alvarez. They're willing to meet his €20 million release clause. His agent, Fernando, will travel to England this week to try and close the transfer. So a Tier 1 source has reported that United will pay the transfer fee for Julian Alvarez, and that his agent is travelling to England this week to close the Julian Alvarez to Manchester United transfer. And this is reportedly a Tier 1 source, so a very reliable source saying this. Now, I will throw out that it's so hard to know what's going on with Julian Alvarez because so many sources are saying so many different things. There's so many different stories coming out with so many different things. And I'm not too familiar with Argentinian journalists, believe it or not. So these tier rankings aren't coming from me. They're coming from what people rank them as. They aren't me. But a Tier 1 source, it says Alvarez's agent will be flying to Manchester this week to try and close the deal. Manchester United have a meeting with Julian Alvarez and his agent. United are willing to pay the £20 million release fee for Julian Alvarez, and they will try and close the transfer. A Tier 2 source, again, once said, and the Tier 2 source is Lanakion, at Lanakion on Twitter. Probably pronounced that wrong, but they said Julian Alvarez will travel to England. Manchester United are winning the race to sign him. They also said that Leeds were interested, but they told Marco Bielsa that Alvarez's priority was the top club in Europe. So a Tier 2 source and a Tier 1 source have, again, both reported that Alvarez's agent will fly to Manchester, England this week coming. And then another Tier 2 source called Hernan S. Castillo, rated Tier 2, said that on January 2nd, Julian Alvarez representatives will travel to Manchester and London, as well as Milan, to talk with clubs. The meeting has already been agreed. The clubs know that if they want Alvarez, they will have to pay his release clause. So basically, what's going on with Julian Alvarez to Manchester United, and these sources have been ranked Tier 2 and Tier 1 sources, has said that Julian Alvarez and his agent have a meeting with Manchester United next week. Manchester United will meet with them, and if Manchester United are willing to pay the €20 million release clause for Julian Alvarez, which has been reported by many sources that they will, but also other sources that they won't, he is effectively our player, and Julian Alvarez would like to go to Manchester United. That's what's being reported as well. And Continental 590 on Twitter, again rated a Tier 2 source, so semi-reliable, says that Manchester United have accelerated negotiations to sign Julian Alvarez. And Alfredo Padula, a Tier 2 source, said that Julian Alvarez's agent is in Europe for a tour that will include Italy and Spain, but the appointment with Manchester United has already been set for Monday. So apparently Alvarez and his agent will come to Manchester United on Monday for an appointment. There's loads and loads of other stories about Julian Alvarez. Jonathan Schrager, he's obviously a well-known English journalist. He is a very, very reliable English journalist, and I would probably listen to this guy more than all the other reports. Jonathan Schrager says that, again, that Fernando, who represents Julian Alvarez, will be in Europe at the start of January, and he will meet with teams. So it's basically been confirmed by a load of Tier 1 and a load of reliable journalists that Julian Alvarez, who's meant to be the next Messi, his agent will be going to Manchester to meet with Manchester United, but they also will be meeting with other clubs. But if Manchester United are willing to pay the €20 million release clause, he essentially will be ours. So guys, let me know your thoughts on Julian Alvarez to Manchester United. I think it's very, very likely, but it's all up to will Manchester United pay that €20 million release clause, which is around £16 million. So it's about the same as Dan James. So surely we'll pay it, but we do need a CDM more than a striker. But with rumours of Cavani going, with Martial definitely going in January, it is a smart move. And as I said, Julian Alvarez is a very, very good player. His stats in the Argentinian league are absolutely insane. He's very technically gifted dribbler. People do call him the next Messi, two-footed, can play all across the front three. He finishes just like Mason Greenwood. He's an absolutely brilliant young player. And as I said, Ralf Rangnick identified Kimmich. As I said, Ralf Rangnick identified Haaland. He identified Mane. He identified Firmino. Ralf Rangnick has a good eye for young players, and Ralf Rangnick spotted this Julian Alvarez, and he wants to bring him to the club. And you know what? I said it in my live stream the other week. I said, Man United listened to Ryan Giggs about Daniel James. Yeah, and Ryan Giggs has no history of scouting good players. Ryan Giggs has a history of shagging his brother's wife, and that's it. And we're willing to spend £15 million on a player Ryan Giggs recommended. Ralf Rangnick, Haaland, Firmino, Mane, Kimmich, Werner, just to name a few. If we are not willing to spend £15 million on a player Rangnick suggests, but £15 million on a player Giggs suggests, then it would sum up the problem at Manchester United. Because the problem with Manchester United is we've spent too many years listening to our mates, listening to our friends. All right, we brought in a set-piece coach this season called Eric Ramsey. Manchester United, the only side in the Premier League not to score from the set piece. And we also have one of the worst defensive records in the Premier League from set pieces. Manchester United are the worst team in the Premier League from set pieces, even though we brought in a new set piece coach in summer. Why did we bring in that set piece coach in summer? Because he was mates with McKenna. And that goes back to my point. Why did we spend 15 million on Daniel James? Because Ryan Giggs, Ollie's mate, recommended him. So generally, if we're not willing to spend the same amount of money on Julian Alvarez, a player that a professional Rangnick suggests, but we're willing to spend that money on what a club legend suggests, it would just sum up the problem at Manchester United. We spent so many years listening to club legends, employing club legends because they're friends, and not many years listening to the professionals. And we need a CDM way before we need Julian Alvarez. 100% we need a CDM way before we need Julian Alvarez. But we're losing Martial. We're going to lose Cavani in the summer. He's 17 million euros. He's an absolute gem. Like, guys, I've done my research on him. He could be an absolute gem. Let's just listen to Rangnick and get it done. That's how I feel. Daniel Fleming says that Ryan Giggs is a legend as a player, but an absolute arsehole as a person. And I think you've hit the nail on the head there. And 20 million is nothing to United, exactly as Bleach Guy says. And only 14 likes needed to get to 100 likes, guys. So please do keep smashing the likes on the video if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news and updates, guys, please do click that subscribe button. It will be very, very much appreciated if you do smash that subscribe button, because tomorrow the January transfer window opens, and I believe Manchester United will have lots of ins, and I believe we will have lots of outs throughout the January transfer window. So, of course, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already subscribed, as I said earlier. And another report says that Julian Alvarez will be a Manchester United player in 2022. A journalist called Ricardo Dordasso has said that Alvarez will join Man United in 2022, but I don't know much about him as a journalist, so I would say take that with a pinch of salt, by the way, and all of that. But yes, smash your like, subscribe, and all of that. And Andrew says, I've heard the claims with other South American footballers, Pato and Gabigol, they were the next big things. Vinicius took years to settle. Never know with South American players. Yeah, you never know with South American players. But one thing we haven't done in years is go for those South American gems. You know, Martinelli looks like a decent player. I mean, Vinicius is looking really, really good lately. It's always a risk with those South American players, and we haven't done it for a while. But I just think it's a risk worth taking when there's so little money. You know, when we're spending that money on Championship players, why don't we go over to South America and get some of the most technically gifted players out there as well? What is happening with Donny van der Beek? Exactly. What is Ralf Rangnick's plans for Donny van der Beek? Because it was reported that Ralf Rangnick values Donny van der Beek and that Ralf Rangnick has Donny in his plans. It also was reported that Donny was likely to leave in January. However, Donny's leaving January plans were on hold with the appointment of Ralf Rangnick. However, Donny van der Beek did not get a single minute in the last two games for Manchester United. And we saw with Martial wanting to go, he's been completely dropped from the squad. Now Martial wants to go, he's completely dropped from the squad. And Martial was fit to play. I think the fact that Delo came on in Donny van der Beek's position ahead of him, and that Fred came on for those last minutes for Ronaldo instead of Donny van der Beek, says to me Donny's leaving. I think Donny could be leaving in January. I don't want Donny to go in January. I want him to stay. I want him to play. But, you know, we know that Donny wanted to go in January. However, with Rangnick coming in, if Donny gets game time, he would stay. Maybe Ralf Rangnick knows that Donny wants to go. And we know with Martial, if Rangnick knows a player wants to go, he isn't going to play them. And Donny van der Beek hasn't got any minutes in the last two games, especially with no Fred and Bruno. Still couldn't get any minutes. It says to me that Rangnick's maybe made up his mind and that Donny could go. And, you know, maybe Man United have said to Rangnick, if you get rid of Donny, you can bring a CDM in, because Man United want to bring in the CDM in January, but it all depends if we can get money for Jesse Lingard or money for Martial. With Jesse Lingard out of contract in 6 months, Lingard's just going to wait down his contract. With Martial's wages being too high, we can't really get money for Martial. The only player of value in that Man United squad that people would still pay a good £20 million for is Donny van der Beek. And maybe Rangnick said, well, you know what, Donny kind of wants to go. I can sell him and get a CDM. And maybe if he's an out-and-out CDM, is more important than Donny van de Beek. Now, I don't 100% know the situation with Donny van de Beek because we were told a couple of weeks ago that Ralf Rangnick wants him in the squad and that he was going to stay and fight for his place now when new manager's in. However, the fact that he didn't play a single minute in the last 2 games and Fred and Dalot came on ahead of him says to me, is he in Ralf Rangnick's plans? And it hints to me that he could go in January because I thought that Donny was going to stay, especially with the lack of depth in midfield. But I guess with Paul Pogba coming back, it will be even harder for Donny to get in the team. You know, Paul Pogba's been out and it's almost been Donny van de Beek's opportunity to get some minutes. Paul Pogba's coming back next week. It's going to be much, much harder for Donny van de Beek to get into the team. So I'd definitely say that I think Donny will go. As Mark Goldbridge said, well, probably not the actual Mark Goldbridge, says Rangnick prefers to put Dalot before Donny. He's clearly gone in the chat. So yeah, I mean, I just think the fact that Dalot came on, just said it all. To be fair, I think he's gone. I don't want Donny to go, but I also do at the same time. I want Donny to go because I know Donny is a good player and his career is being ruined at Manchester United. He's been treated badly and he deserves so much better. But I also don't want Donny van de Beek to go because I know he's such a talented player and I think we'd really, really miss him if we sold Donny van de Beek. And how would you guys felt if Manchester United sold Donny van de Beek? Let me know down below. And Diego says only 90 likes needed for 200 likes, guys. So keep smashing the likes on the video. Can we go for 300 likes by the end of the video? If your glaze is out, smash a like on the video. And Devils Den 666 said that United Stan said that Manchester United are in advanced talks to sign Atletico Madrid's Kieran Trippier. Manchester United have not shown any more interest in the right back. That doesn't make sense. But I don't think we're going for Trippier. But you keep commenting that as well. I've got a question here. What's going on with Donny's future? Again, I just think he's going to go. If Donny goes, I'm going to be heartbroken. Yeah, I'm going to be absolutely heartbroken if Donny van de Beek leaves Manchester United because Donny van de Beek is such a talented player, guys. Like, he's actually such a talented player and he hasn't got a chance. You know, the thing is, my guy that sent me the lineup sent me the exact lineup, but with Donny and for McTominay. He sent me that exact lineup with Donny and for McTominay. Rangnick said after the match, McTominay wasn't going to play, but at 2 o'clock that day, they decided he was fit enough to play. And obviously, I can't confirm this. I don't know if this is true, but does that mean that Donny was going to play yesterday, and then he just put McTominay over Donny because McTominay was fit, which is very obvious, playing injured McTominay over Donny. I don't know. Maybe he was going to play Donny, you know, because I was told that Bruno and Fred were dropped and Donny was going to come in. Bruno and Fred were obviously dropped. But I don't really know. But, you know, if Donny was going to start, was he in the plans? But surely if Donny was originally going to start until McTominay was fit, surely you sub Donny on. And for me, the fact that Dalot came on and not Donny, and Fred came on for that 30 seconds and not Donny, I just thought, yeah. Happy New Year, Alice is man of the match. Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. Smash a like on the video. The last video in 2021, guys. I wish everybody a Happy New Year. In some countries, it's already 2022, by the way. Is it 2022 for anyone watching right now? But in England, it's 7:30. It's 2021, and I wish everybody a Happy New Year. Daniel Fleming says that Julian Alvarez, I think, would be a great gem in the future for Manchester United. Yes, I think that Julian Alvarez would be a brilliant gem for Manchester United in the future. I think it's a risk, as Andrew said, with the foreign players, but I think he would be an absolute gem. I've also got another statistic for you guys. Cristiano Ronaldo has scored 47 goals in 2021. A 36-year-old Ronaldo has scored 47 goals in 2021, and 18 of them were match-winning goals. A 36-year-old Ronaldo, sorry. I tell you what, he is a good player. Dave says, let's get 100k next year. My goal for 2022 is to hit 40k, but if we hit 100k, fucking brilliant. I would take it. And all of that. It's 2022 in Bangladesh. Is it 2022 where any of you guys are watching? And I could see Newcastle going for Donny. I could see Everton as well. And Andrew says Donny needs to go. I desperately wanted him to get a chance, but it doesn't seem like it's happening. And I agree with Andrew. If Donny's not going to get a chance, there's no point keeping him. Especially with Paul Pogba coming back, it's going to be a lot harder for Donny to get opportunities in the squad. And as much as I love Donny van de Beek, and as much as I like to keep Donny van de Beek, because I think he's a talented player, and I think we'll miss him if he goes, and I think he's a player we need. He can keep the ball. I think we're crying out for a player like Donny van de Beek. If he's not going to play him and he's not in the plans, you have to let him go, because it's simply not fair, and he's been treated treated very, very badly. Donny might be the problem where we don't see the things in like training or something else, because how can it be where 3 managers, Ollie, Carrick and Rangnick, don't pick him up? Well, Carrick picked him up, but what I will have to say is Luke Shaw came out and said that Donny van der Beek's always fantastic in training, and he couldn't believe he wasn't picked more. Manchester United players came out and talked about how good Donny was in training, and there was all these leaks coming out about how United players had said that Donny was good in training, and they're surprised he barely got any opportunities, and all the players felt sorry for Donny. So obviously we don't see that, we don't know if it's true, we don't know if the leaks are true, but remember all those leaks came out and talked about how good Donny is in training. So, you know, it surprises me. But one thing I will say, and I said it before and I'll say it again, Ralf Rangnick dropped Fred. Fred's been good his last 5 games. Fred's had 5 good games in a row for Manchester United. He's had 5 good games in a row for Manchester United. And in the first half versus Newcastle, he was abysmal when he got subbed off at half-time because he was abysmal. He then got dropped. You know, a lot of people, a lot of the McTominay haters are like, oh, McTominay's had one good game now, he's never going to get dropped. Fred was really, really good in Rangnick's first couple of games, had a poor half, got subbed off at half-time, got dropped. McTominay is a good player when on his day, but if McTominay goes back to the McTominay he was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Rangnick will drop him and he will give someone else a chance. I do believe that, you know, Rangnick will give players opportunities. He will drop poor players. You know, Scott McTominay plays like that every week. Of course he's not going to drop Scott McTominay for Donny. He'd be stupid to. But if Scott McTominay's going to play like he did under Ollie, you know, if Fred's going to go back into the Fred form, you know, I think they will be dropped. I think Maguire will be dropped soon. I generally believe Maguire's going to get dropped by Ralf Rangnick. I generally believe it, because I want to say this, guys. Lindelof is obviously out with COVID and Baye goes to AFCON, but Lindelof, Baye and Varane have all been better than Maguire. Varane is our best centre-back. Lindelof, Maguire and Baye can all fight for that second spot, but on current form, Maguire doesn't get in that second spot, and I think when they're all fit as well, you could see Maguire losing out as well. Blue Sky says my dream pivot is Bissouma and Donny. I mean, Bissouma's out of contract in 18 months, guys, so Bissouma would be available for quite cheap, you know. Obviously, Sakari is a free agent in the summer, Kamara is a free agent in the summer, Kessie's a free agent in the summer, and those have been the sort of the players that we've been talking about Manchester United, because all three of them are free agents in the summer. But Bissouma's only got 18 months left, so he could be a very, very cheap deal to do in the summer, and I do like Bissouma. He always looks brilliant at Brighton. I think the one thing with Bissouma is he is Premier League proven. I think he's a player that you see him in the Premier League and he does well. And I think, you know, you don't know with Sakara, with his injury record, if he's good enough. You don't know with Kamara how good he will be. You don't know with Kessie how good he will be. But Tibby says we need a defender. I don't think we need a defender. I think Lindelof, Baye and Varane are all good centre-backs, and Maguire on his day is a good centre-back, if you know. And big clubs still want Donny. And what team would I like Donny to go to? I'd like him to go to a Premier League team and see what he could do. I think West Ham would be a good team for Donny to go to. Leicester. I think I'd like to see him go to a club like that, if you want my honest opinion as well. Guys, smash a like on the video. Let's go for 300 likes. It's the last live stream of 2021, so please do get smashing those likes button. And Daniel says Tchouaméni, I reckon he'd be good in a pivot with Fred McTominay, and Tchouaméni would be my dream transfer of 2022. Actually, going into 2022, who is your dream 2022 Manchester United transfer? Mine is Tchouaméni. I will stick with Tchouaméni because we need a CDM more than anything else. But you can say Haaland, you can say Mbappe, you can say Neymar, you can say Messi, I don't care. But mine would be Tchouaméni as well. And I hope we have Bissouma. He can read the game like against Chelsea. He was brilliant against Chelsea. Get rid of the deadwood. Get rid of the deadwood. And I tell you what, now, not all these players I'm going to name are deadwood, but there's a lot of players leaving Manchester United in 2022. Here are the players rumoured to be leaving Manchester United permanently or on loan in 2022. Cavani will either leave in January or at the end of the season. Paul Pogba will leave at the end of the season. Martial will definitely leave this year. That's 3 players that I don't want to lose, but we're probably going to lose. Donny van der Beek likely to go. That's 4 players. Okay, that's 4 players we're losing. Matic retiring, 5 players. Okay, Mata retiring, 6 players. Amad Diallo on loan. Dean Henderson on loan. 8 players leaving Manchester United in 2022. Could be more as well. 8 players. You know, I mean, not all of those players would be deadwood, but 8 players could leave Manchester United in 2022, which makes me feel like we are clearing out as well. Declan Rice is SS16's dream transfer. Deet's dream transfer is Vinicius Jr. Frankie de Jong, Dusan Vlahovic here. He's good and a proper right back. Daniels would be Donny at Donny at West Ham. Marks is Ruben Neves. I mean, John McGinn. Yeah, let me know who your dream 2022 Manchester United transfer would be. Mine would have to be Tchouaméni. Andrew agrees Tchouaméni would be my top DM, and talking dream signings, it would probably be Bellingham with all the mids we are losing. Yeah, honestly, my dream transfer window. What should actually everybody comment their dream 2022 transfer window, and let's make it summer so it can be a bit more realistic. But my dream 2022 transfer window would be Bellingham to replace Pogba, Tchouaméni as a CDM, and then Haaland to replace Cavani. Never going to happen, you know, because Dortmund wouldn't sell Bellingham and Haaland in one window, but that would be absolutely my dream transfer window. And do let me know what your dream transfer window would be down below. And also, guys, please do subscribe to the channel if you've not clicked that subscribe button. We're five subscribers away from 26.3k. I only need 5 more of you guys watching to subscribe to hit 26.3k. So can we go into 2022 with 26.3k subscribers? I'm sure 5 of you guys aren't subscribed, and it costs nothing to click that subscribe button. So please smash a like and please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. It'd be very, very appreciated. Bellingham, Tchouaméni, and Haaland. That is my dream transfer window. That would be my dream summer transfer window. Basuma and Jude in 2022. That would be an absolutely brilliant transfer window. De Jong and Declan Rice. That'll be an absolutely brilliant transfer window. I do want to get into another. I've got another question for you guys in a minute. We are going to do our 2021 player awards, so I want to get all you guys involved in. I think do you want me to do a poll so you guys can vote for the 2021 player awards? We'll do that at the end of the video, but I do quickly want to talk about Rangnick's comments after the match. So Ralf Rangnick's press conference, he talked about how he played Matic and McTominay and how Matic was the quarterback and McTominay used his energy going forward and all of that. One thing that Ralf Rangnick said after the Manchester United Burnley win was he said it's very important to have 6 fresh players on the pitch. He thinks it paid off. The right players were in the right positions. Ralf Rangnick talked about how having fresh players on the pitch versus Burnley paid off. You know, one problem Manchester United had under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and one problem we definitely had towards the end of last season, was it was the same 11 every week. You could predict the Manchester United starting 11 like that. It was very, very predictable. And Ralf Rangnick spoke about how, you know, it's really good to have fresh players and how we, you know, rotating players and how it paid off. Ralf Rangnick said that after the match, which is a good point. Ralf Rangnick also said that he was a little bit angry about the goal we conceded and because it was an unforced error. But yeah. He said Ralf Rangnick doesn't like how we're conceding silly goals. That was another thing Ralf Rangnick said. And then Ralf Rangnick also said it's important to have a player in his best possible position, and that's why we decided to play Sancho from the left and Greenwood from the right and 2 strikers up front. And Rangnick also said regarding the Burnley match that we showed how dangerous we can be, how flexible we can play with the 2 wingers and 2 fullbacks on and off coming into the attack and the 2 strikers. And, you know, what I like about Ralf Rangnick is you could see the improvement from Newcastle to Burnley. And I liked how Ralf Rangnick analysed the game. He also said that the game wasn't perfect. He said we had a few problems in the first 15 minutes to try and find the right solutions and take the right decisions. But when we got the first goal, we got a lot better. And although we won the game 3-1, Ralf Rangnick pointed out the performance wasn't perfect. The first 15 minutes were slow. The second half was poor. But obviously, he said we got the win and we did the job. And I like how Ralf Rangnick, we won the game, but Ralf Rangnick knows that performance wasn't perfect. He's picked out the bad things. He's picked out the good things, which, you know, it gives me confidence in Ralf Rangnick because, you know, when we dropped points to Newcastle, and it was very Ole-esque. The performance versus Newcastle was very similar to the performances Manchester United had put in under Ole. But when we dropped points to Newcastle under Ole, Ole's comments were very blah, just wasn't very good. When we dropped points to Newcastle under Ralf Rangnick, he talked about the rhythm, the tempo, the lack of speed. He analysed it and spoke about everything we did wrong, which is what I really, really like. And that gives me confidence in Ralf Rangnick that we're going to get better with every game. I generally believe that we will get better with every game, Manchester United. I believe that Rangnick adapting the squad will be a slow process because it's a big change from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, there was a player coming out and complaining that, you know, we have to train after 5 p.m. I've got to drive home in the dark. I mean, how horrible. These United players have to work until after 5 p.m. How horrible. But I believe that Ralf Rangnick will slowly improve this Manchester United side. And there was an improvement versus Burnley. And people go, oh, it was only Burnley. But yeah, it was only Newcastle. And look how poor we were. And I believe that Ralf Rangnick will slowly improve this Manchester United side, and I think we'll have a good 2022, and hopefully be in a better place come the summer. And I'm confident that we will get top 4 as well. Rangnick also said about Rafael Varane, he was thinking of playing Varane, but he noticed last time he came back that quickly, he got injured again, and that's why he brought Bailly back. And there's a lot of people angry. They're going, how can he drop Varane and not Maguire? No, he only dropped Varane because of an injury precaution. And then David De Gea said that Rangnick puts on very intense training sessions, high tempo all the time. You cannot relax. And voice gone. David De Gea said that Rangnick's training sessions are hard, which is good because it's what the team need, because I reckon they're a bit easy under Ollie. Rangnick is doing an Ollie at the moment, playing McTominay and Maguire. Rangnick had to play Maguire or Phil Jones because Varane isn't fit. And Rangnick is playing McTominay because McTominay's not been bad. Look, Rangnick started the first games with McFred because he only got impact from Feeder, McKenna and Ollie. Okay, so of course he's going to play McFred. Fred had a bad 45 minutes. He took Fred off at half-time. Ollie would never take Fred off at half-time, even if he had a bad 45 minutes. He dropped Fred. McTominay doesn't deserve to be dropped because he's playing well. I think that Donny should have. I think Ollie should have dropped McTominay on loads of occasions because he was poor. But McTominay hasn't had a bad game under Rangnick, so McTominay doesn't deserve to be dropped. So I'm not going to criticise Ralf for playing McTominay over Donny when McTominay hasn't done anything wrong under Ralf yet. However, I will criticise him saying I still think Donny deserves a chance. I think everyone can say that. But again, he can't drop Maguire because Varane's injured. He'd have to play Phil Jones, and Lindelof has COVID as well. But I think Donny might get his chance, but I think he could be going considering he wasn't played. Yash says he always remains positive before lineups are confirmed, and after that it's always some heartbreak. Yeah, I mean, look, I'd like Donny to play, but I'm not going to complain if we win and Donny doesn't play. But I think Donny should have come on. I think Donny should have come on in the 60th, 70th minute. We're obviously going to win the game. We're very much control. I think we should have brought Donny on with 20 minutes to go. I think we should have brought Donny on and not Delo, personally. That's my one criticism. And Donny is not going to any mediocre mid-table team. Don't you realise that top clubs in Europe are still interested in Donny? They are. Donny's a very, very good player, and many, many top clubs. Yeah, and I find it bizarre that Rangnick hasn't criticised Maguire yet. He's been awful, and Ralf does not seem shy to call out issues and mistakes. Ralf Rangnick's not criticised individual players, though. I think Ralf Rangnick criticises the team. He said against Newcastle, he's not going to name names, but there were some unforced errors. He said that we weren't playing as a team. I think Ralf Rangnick knows there's issues with Maguire. He knows there's issues with certain players, but I get the impression that Ralf Rangnick's not the type of guy to call out a specific player. And I disagree that Rangnick's Ollie 2.0 because Matic and McTominay under Ollie were atrocious. Matic and McTominay under Ollie were worse than McFred. They were static. They were atrocious. Matic and McTominay under Ralf, they were good because McTominay got forward, Matic got back. Unfortunately, Matic doesn't have the legs to do it week in, week out. But the difference between Rangnick and Ollie is that was a very Ollie starting 11, but we played very different to Ollie. In the second half, we played like we did under Ollie. We lost energy. But in the first half, you could see what Rangnick was trying to do. You could see how Rangnick was trying to play, and it was a very different way to Ollie. Am I the only one who fancies a new left winger? Rashford doesn't seem to do it for me. I like Rashford. I think Rashford is good enough. I just think Rashford needs to get back in form, and I think Rashford just needs some proper coaching as well. As Diego says, please do subscribe to Alice Abrahams and Alice Talks Football and the one with Alice. Please do subscribe to all my channels with the notification bell on, and of course smash a like on the video, guys. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, please do subscribe. The January transfer window opens tomorrow, so if you want to be updated as soon as a player leaves Manchester United and as soon as a player joins Manchester United in the January transfer window, make sure you're subscribed. I need one more person to subscribe to hit 29.3k, so if one more of you people watching subscribes, we will hit 29.3k, so please do go ahead and smash that subscribe button, as it would mean a lot. Let's see if we can hit the 26.3k, guys, as well. I think Donny would be good for West Ham, especially if they can't get Lingard. And 57 likes needed for 200 likes. So, of course, let's go for 200 likes. Stop with the Donny to West Ham and Newcastle. You don't know what kind of caliber player he is. All of this disrespect. I think Donny's better than West Ham and Newcastle, but I think Donny will do anything for minutes because he wants to get back in that squad for the World Cup as well. And Ralf mentioned Bailly's mistake and has called Greenwood out a few times, and I believe Fred as well. He just doesn't hint at the Maguire issues. You make a good point. He did point out Bayern's mistake, but to be fair, Maguire was a mistake for both goals, but so was Bayern Brown, and maybe he just doesn't want to call out Maguire because he gets a lot of stick on the media. I'm not sure, but you do raise a good point there, Andrew. Alice, where is your Q&A? I could not find it. Yeah, everybody is asking where my Q&A is, guys. If you go to Alice Talks Football on YouTube here, if you go to my YouTube channel and you go over to channels, about, you go over to about, and the third channel, you click on the third channel here, you go over to my third channel and you click on this video here, which was on the 18th of December. Yeah, that is my 25k Q&A. For all of you that wanted to check out the 25k Q&A, that is it. But yeah, as well. How old am I? I am 21. I've got a couple things to talk about as well. And Foden will probably look shit in this team as well. Look, I always say with Ronaldo, with Rashford, with Bruno, with Greenwood, with every Man United player, I will protect them in the sense of they've been playing in a bad system for a few years. They have been playing in a bad system for a few years. So I think, we could take a lot of really talented Man City players and they might look bad at Man United because look at the football that we play as well. So you make a good point there as well. Guys, do you want to do the 2022 player awards? Do you want to do some 2022 player awards? Because I want to do best player, player of the season, player of 2021. So let me go to my liked tweets if I can find it. The Manchester United 2021 player awards. Shall we go through these, guys? Shall we go through these? And let me just read this comment. If Donny doesn't get a chance, then we can give Donny to West Ham with more money and take Rice from them. Smart play as well. And Donny should go to Arsenal. They need to play like that badly. But Arsenal are rivals for top four, so we do not want to give them as well. But yes, guys, the 2021 Manchester United Player Awards. We're going to start with who is Manchester United's Player of the Year. Get commenting them down below. Everybody tell me who your Player of the Year is, because this is not the season. This is the whole of 2021. And if you're looking at the first half of 2021, it's Luke Shaw. If you're looking at the second half of 2021, it is David De Gea. But going overall throughout 2021, who has been Manchester United's player of the season? And I would probably, part of me would go Bruno, if you go across the whole season. But another part of me, you go, you know what? David De Gea was good last season. You take out the Villarreal match, and David De Gea had a very, very good 2021. I think second half is definitely De Gea. First half is definitely Luke Shaw. Bruno's been hit and miss and important across the season. Cavani hasn't played enough, really. I would probably say David De Gea has probably been our best player in 2021. I think David De Gea. I think we're going to go. Should we go with De Gea for 2021 Player of the Year? Now, 2021 Young Player of the Year for me has to be Mason Greenwood, because we don't. I mean, would Rashford classify as young player? Maybe, but I still think Greenwood's been better than Rashford lately. McTominay is not really a young player anymore. I think Greenwood has to be 2021 young player, unless anyone can think of someone that would get 2021 player that isn't Greenwood. But Greenwood's got obviously 5 goals sort of this season, and in 2021 Greenwood has. Let me count how many goals Greenwood has in 2021. 6 goals. Let me count Greenwood's goals in 2021. 6 goals, 7 goals, 8 goals, 9 goals, 10 goals, 11 goals, 12 goals, 13 goals. Greenwood has 15 goals in 2021. 15 goals in 2021. So I think Greenwood, the young player, and I think De Gea for Player of the Year. Okay, we're gonna go with Greenwood, Mason Greenwood. McTominay is older than Donny van de Beek. And do you think Bruno should come straight back into the Wolves game, or Greenwood should keep a spot? I think let Greenwood keep a spot, but bring Bruno on for impact, because Bruno always has impact. So definitely Diallo second, yeah, but he doesn't come anywhere near Greenwood as well. Okay, guys. Who is the most improved player of 2021? Who is Manchester United's most improved player? I would say De Gea. I mean, look, De Gea is back to his best. But I mean, in terms of his different form and improvement, I would say David De Gea. I think Lindelof started to look a little bit better. Luke Shaw did improve, but he's dropped off recently. Dalot, you could say, is definitely improved, but hasn't played enough to really give him the award. McTominay's just picked up form. Fred's just hit and miss. I would probably say Luke Shaw or David De Gea. Let me know down below who is your most improved player for 2021. But I'd say it's definitely a toss-up between Luke Shaw and David De Gea. And I think most of you could probably agree with me on that, that it would be a toss-up between Luke Shaw and David De Gea. And then we're going to go for best goal. Best goal. For me, it's that Paul Pogba one versus Fulham. Let me know what was your favourite goal of 2021. But I liked that Paul Pogba one versus Fulham. Cavani scored. Was it Fulham? Cavani also scored a screamer, which might have been against Fulham as well. Paul Pogba scored a screamer against West Ham. Bruno scored a screamer not that long. Bruno's goal versus Leeds. So many good goals, but I think it was that one where remember that goal where Paul Pogba sort of took it down and then on his weak foot volleyed it in. That was my goal of the season. Ronaldo versus Atalanta 2-2 was a very good goal. Bruno versus Leeds was a very, very good goal. Cavani versus Fulham or Bruno versus Everton, they were very, very good goals. Alex Telles versus Villarreal was a cracking goal as well. Donny's debut goal was 2020, mate. Best own goal, Harry Maguire. Love that comment. And just a little off topic here. United is not in the top 4 because this season we are getting no more penalties. I mean, look, we've barely got any penalties this season. And, you know, Chelsea are the new Manchester United. Chelsea are the new Manchester United. But we're not in top 4 because we've been poor. I don't think it's penalties, you know, as well. And by best own goal. But best goal is, I think, for me, Pogba. And best game. What has been United's best game of 2021? For me, it's when we went to the Etihad and we beat City. Look, I think the Southampton 9-0 was brilliant. The Leeds 6-2, the Leeds 5-1. I think they've been brilliant games. But my favourite game was when we beat Manchester City at the Etihad and we beat their unbeaten streak of 22 games. That for me, that was my favourite one. Oh, this is a good one. But the 9-0, that was a brilliant game as well. Flop of the season. New question for you guys to get involved in the chat. Flop of the season. That's a tough one. I think Wan-Bissaka, I've been disappointed with his 2022 because I'd like to have seen him improve, but I wouldn't say he's been a complete flop. Maguire's second half's been a flop. Flop of the season. You'd have to give it to Donny, or as bad as it sounds, because he's barely played in 2022. 2021, you'd have to give it to Donny, I think, flop of the season. I think really on form, you would give it to Maguire, but Maguire's played a lot. And he did have a good Euros, and he did have a good start to 2021, but maybe giving it to Donny's harsh, and maybe we'll give Maguire flop of the season. And 6-1 Spurs was... Actually, no, 5-0 Liverpool was a worse game than 6-1 Spurs. 5-0 Liverpool has to be the worst game of the season. Has to be the worst game of the season. Rashford, Wan-Bissaka, and Maguire haven't been great. I think Donny's harsh because he hasn't played much. But United have been a flop this season in general. Guys, please smash a like on the video if you haven't already. And, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest January transfer news, gossip, and information coming in. So smash a like and smash a subscribe. It is not Donny's fault. I don't think I can give Donny flop because he hasn't actually had a chance to prove himself. Like, some players are flops, but they get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and they're just crap. Whereas with Donny van de Beek, he's never really got a good opportunity to prove himself as well. But yes, guys, I've got a couple things to talk about before I end the live stream. Also talking about, first of all, the disrespect to Cristiano Ronaldo. If you think that Cristiano Ronaldo will go down as one of the most disrespected footballers of all time, smash a like on the video, because Cristiano Ronaldo, guys, there are Manchester United fans and there are pundits and there are people in the media that still think Cristiano Ronaldo is the reason Manchester United have been poor this season. Cristiano Ronaldo, who has 17 goal contributions in 17 starts this season at nearly 37 years of age in the hardest league in the world for an underperforming Manchester United side, people are still accusing him of making Manchester United worse. If we win the Champions League, we do not engrave Manchester United on it. We engrave Cristiano Ronaldo on it because he's the only way we're going to win the Champions League. And we'll put De Gea on there as well. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the most disrespected players in 2021. We also were bantering about Lukaku, guys. I will show you this as well. But if we do go to Alice Talks Football, if we do go over to Alice Talks Football, and we go over to the second channel, Bish Bash Bosh, second channel here, I have a video all about, we're not going to play it, but I have a video here all about my thoughts on Lukaku's dumbass comments. So do go check out the second channel if you have not already. And let me do one more thing. Oh, load, you sodding. My screen won't load. If I go over here, channels as well. Not channels. Store. We do have merch up as well. We've got the Martial quote team. We've got the Bruno quote team. We've got a CT as well. But make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe down below if you're new, and click on my own video.
If you want to sell online.
Oh, no, it's frozen. We won't click on my own video. Thought I would get a cheeky free view there as well. But yeah, the media is absolutely crazy. Someone's in my pajamas. I'm not in my pajamas. And Donny hasn't played. McGuire always plays, and he's quite bad. Exactly. I think McGuire, I think McGuire could be flop of the season, but I feel, if we're making flop of the season in July, McGuire wouldn't be near, because McGuire was good in 2021. We missed him when he was injured. He was good in the Euros. Ronaldo was 1 goal shy of the third most in the PL into his late 30s, and he's not even. We've not even played well around him or create chances. Yeah, good point. I don't know if that's true, but if it is true, good point. And the media need to start talking about Maguire, says Daniel Fleming. They do, but they won't, because he's British. You know what's crazy is, how they always bring Pogba's £100 million price tag into it. They always bring Martial's £50 million price tag, Martial's Ballon d'Or clause. They always bring Pogba's £100 million price tag, into it. When they talk about Maguire, I don't see pundits throwing in his price tag like they do with Pogba, like they do with Martial, because no one talks about Maguire that much in terms of mainstream media. Us fans will talk about Maguire, but when United lose, Carragher will go on about Ronaldo, will go on about Bruno. They won't talk about Maguire and how Maguire was the worst individual on the pitch. It'll be Ronaldo, Bruno. When, talk sport, they won't talk about Maguire. It will be Ronaldo, Bruno, and all that. Andrew says Maguire is streaky through. He was bad after the Euros and good after last Christmas. Seems he has good and bad pitches. The thing with Maguire's a bit like Bruno. When Maguire is good, he's really good. Like, when Maguire is good, he is good enough for Manchester United. I'm not going to say he's really good. I'm not going to say he's world class. But when Maguire is good, he's good enough to play for Manchester United. But when Maguire is crap, oh my God, you might as well start Phil Jones. I will say that about Harry Maguire. When he's good, he's good. But when he's crap, my God, Harry Maguire is crap. Is crap on his day, isn't he? He's one of those players. With Maguire in the team, United won't win anything. Look, if Maguire finds form, we can think of him in the team. But I think right now, Lindelof, Bayer, and Varane should all be ahead of Maguire in the pecking order. And I think most people would agree with me when I say that. I think that is becoming common knowledge. Why wasn't Maguire suspended versus Burnley, even though Bruno was? Because Bruno's got more yellow cards or something. Maguire had his suspension, didn't he? And when they were paying 50 million for Maguire, what was Manchester United thinking? Like, what game of this justified that 80 million? I never understood. Ed Woodward spent 150 million on Maguire, Daniel James, and Wan-Bissaka. 150 million. That could have got us Bellingham and Grealish in the same window. Because we didn't want to spend 30 million on Jude Bellingham. Remember, we reviewed 30 million as too much for Jude Bellingham, but we spent 150 million on Daniel James, Maguire, and Wan-Bissaka. Ed bloody Woodward for you. That's all I'm saying. Jim White on TalkSport would go on about Ronaldo and Bruno being flops low, but won't call out players like Maguire, and it's just facts. It's absolutely facts. Have a great New Year, Alice. Big up Niall Kane in the chat. Yes, everybody, have a brilliant New Year. Anyone got any cool New Year's plans? I know some countries it's already the New Year, but Happy New Year to all of my followers. This is the last live show of 2021. Hopefully, the goal for 2022 is to hit 40,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. So if everybody keeps subscribing that's not subscribed, you help me maybe get closer to reaching my 2022 goal as well. But keep smashing the likes, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed as well. And Kepa, the most expensive goalkeeper, and he's benched, so I don't see why Maguire can't be benched. Good comment there by Craddock. 2022 hopefully will be a good year for Manchester United, and hopefully we can start off 2022 by having a good and effective January transfer window, and even potentially getting a CDM in, because that would be, for me, a really, really good start and a really, really good approach to 2022 that I'd absolutely love to see as well. So hopefully a good 2022 and coming from Manchester United. And we could have had Bellingham and Haaland for 40 to 50 million combined when they left their clubs. shaking my head. The thing is, Man United, this is facts from Andrew, in 2020 or 29, was it 2019 or 2020? I think it was 2020. Yeah, it was 2020. We could have got Haaland in January 2020 and Bellingham in the summer of 2020 for 40 million. We could have got Haaland and Bellingham for 40 million, but instead we want to spend 150. But no, we could have got Haaland and Bellingham for half the price of Harry Maguire. Ed Woodward passed up on the opportunity to spend 40 million on Haaland and Bellingham in 2020, but he spent 80 million on Harry Maguire in 2019. 40 million, half the price Bellingham and Haaland cost Bayern. Half the price that we paid for Harry Maguire. Ed Wood, and he's still not resigned. 2021 highlights video. I should do that. I could maybe have a look and see if I can edit one to go on like January 2nd. 2021 highlights video. If someone watching wants to make an Alice Talks Football 2021 highlights video, DM me on Twitter, show me the video, and I'll post it up on the TikTok or YouTube or something. If anyone wants to make a 2021 highlights video, but did not plan on making one as well. But guys, keep smashing the likes buttons. Let's go for 250 likes. End 2022 on a good note as well. One thing I want to say is what I like is Elanga could be involved coming into the future as well. I think Rangnick has plans to play the young players. And something that I forgot to mention in my match reaction that I do want to throw out is, and I forgot to mention this in my match reaction, Man United are 7 games unbeaten. We haven't lost a game since Ollie's come in. We're 7 games unbeaten, and you've got to start somewhere. And I think that's a positive. You know, things haven't been amazing. You know, it's not been that quick turnaround, that quick boosh. But we're 7 games unbeaten. We can only build momentum from that. And we know we're United, and we know they're the momentum side. We know once we start playing well, we normally are good. You know, we can build momentum, we can get good and all of that. But Manchester United are unbeaten since Ollie's left. We are unbeaten in 7 matches, and I think that's one big positive. And a 2021 highlights video will be epic. If anyone wants to make me one, just DM me on Twitter, Alice Talks Footy, because it would be much appreciated as well. And ask Man United for a highlight video. They pay a price like 80 million. I honestly, I should. Any news on Sakaria? Regarding Sakaria to Manchester United, the only kind of situation with Sakaria to Manchester United is very much that Sakaria is a free agent in the summer. English clubs are interested in him. But I couldn't tell you if that English club was Manchester United because Romano just said 2 English clubs. And Laird looking quite good, possibly a Championship Player of the Season. We could do with more right-back depth. Ethan Laird has been absolutely fantastic. I will throw that out. Ethan Laird has been absolutely fantastic in the Championship this season. He could be good competition for the likes of Delo and Wan-Bissaka as well. And, you know, with Delo and Wan-Bissaka being good players, but they've not really cemented themselves. You make a very, very good comment there. You make a very, very good comment there. And highlight Alice versus Liverpool. Can't we sack him at half time? If someone wants to make me a highlights video, they've got to go to the 9-0 Southampton, the Leeds game, but also the Liverpool game, also probably the City game, also sacking Ollie, also signing Ronaldo. Oh, my reaction to signing Ronaldo would be mad. And someone said your old videos are so funny, Alice. You should react to more on the 3rd channel. I have been reacting to old videos on the 3rd channel, by the way, guys. So do subscribe to the 3rd channel because I haven't really promoted it. I haven't really promoted the 3rd channel. So we've only on like, 80 subscribers or something like that. Because obviously I only made it like a week ago. So if you're not subscribed to the 3rd channel, do subscribe because today's video, and I'm trying to upload weekly on there. Try to be a bit more consistent. But today's video, I was reacting to my old videos from when I was about 15. I was reacting to videos of me from when I was about 15. And honestly, they're proper cringe. Like, I've been doing YouTube for a while, and those videos were absolute proper cringe as well. So do subscribe to the 3rd channel. I just put it up there. If anyone wants to subscribe, and still a dream to see Ronaldo playing for us again. A year ago, I would never believed it. I think, yeah, 2021 highlights for my channel, 2021 highlights for me would have to be like Ronaldo come in. You know, that 9-0 versus Southampton was brilliant. You know, the end of the season was brilliant. Like, the thing is, like, we've had a lot of bad moments. The Europa League final, Liverpool 5-0. We've had a lot of bad moments, but we had a brilliant transfer window. The summer was a highlight of 2021. So much has happened. You know what? This has been a massive year for Manchester United. New manager, Ronaldo comes back. We got some absolute batterings. We've had some absolutely brilliant games. It's been a very back and forth season for Manchester United, hasn't it? It's been a very, very back and forth season for Manchester United. There's a lot of highlights. United should sign Kamara, says Lungo. Look, I agree that Manchester United should sign Kamara. I'd absolutely love us to go out and sign Kamara. He's only 10 million. There's talk about Kamara going one way, Martial going the other way. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But yes, I do agree. I'm not a big fan of Carbon Phillips, but I take anyone at CDM as well. But guys, if you haven't already, keep smashing that like button. It absolutely costs nothing to hit that like button. So please do go ahead and hit the like button. It'll be very much appreciated. And if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We'll be doing pretty much daily live streams in 2021, especially in January throughout the transfer window. If you want to know as soon as we sell a player, I'll be live. If you want to know as soon as we sign a player, I'll be live. So if anyone comes and anyone goes in January, I will be live to update you guys. And if I cannot go live, I will be doing short videos as well. So for watch-alongs to every Manchester United game in 2022, make sure you subscribe for match reactions, match previews, but also daily transfer news updates. Please do subscribe to the channel. Might as well promote the channel while we can. But smash your like, smash the subscribe. Thanks to everyone for tuning in today's live stream. We'll be back again tomorrow.